There are plenty of iconic and absolutely legendary moments from throughout Kingdom Hearts, so there should be. The series has been running strong for almost 20 years now. The Kingdom Hearts 1 Dive to Heart tutorial segment, dual wielding for the first time as Roxas, the entire Birth by Sleep ending sequence, Sora meeting Ventus, Mickey appearing at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, anything to do with Sephiroth. There's plenty of memorable moments here. But today I wanted to talk about one of my absolute favorite moments from throughout Kingdom Hearts. And it's actually a really recent moment from Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. It's honestly extremely hard to pick an absolute, yes, this is a definitive moment from throughout the entire series, but without a doubt, this entire sequence would have to go down as one of my absolute favorites. Not so much for the gameplay in which this scenario offers so much, but more so towards what exactly this entire sequence is representing. Today I want to talk about the Guardians of Light fight against the Xehanort replicas, as well as the segment that comes shortly afterwards to do with Mickey going towards the keyhole, fending off against the replicas as well. This segment is truly legendary and is probably the most memorable moment of my jaw being absolutely dropped within any scenario in Kingdom Hearts, for the main reason being that we'd just never seen anything like this done before in any other previous Kingdom Hearts game. It's not that there was absolute crazy gameplay in either of these segments. I mean, it's all just reaction-based prompts with having to control all of the Guardians of Light by simply pressing X to attack and then square to either dodge or block. The Mickey segment is the exact same. While we did get to control Mickey, it wasn't really controlling Mickey. A little bit unfortunate, because I do know that a lot of people wanted that Mickey Mouse gameplay, sort of similar to what we got in Kingdom Hearts 2, but for Kingdom Hearts 3, but from a lore standpoint, makes sense that we didn't get that. More so, yeah, this segment was similar to the Guardians fight. It's all just reaction-based prompts. We got to control him a little bit, but he's a very slow Mickey Mouse because he's battered from the previous battle. What I'm saying here is there wasn't really any sort of crazy gameplay per se. It's just the entire set piece and segment that is playing before our eyes, which is absolutely incredible. It really does get me even further excited to see what kind of segments that will be up to this level, if not beyond which, for the future of Kingdom Hearts. I have to say that I really do appreciate how we got to see what was going on from the perspective of the Guardians of Light, while of course Sora was in Scarlet and Kylum with Donald and Goofy facing off against Xehanort, while he had summoned the Keyblade on top of also summoning Kingdom Hearts and was trying to overtake it. This finally gave us a little bit more of a slice of the interaction between the Guardians of Light 2, something that I know a lot of people were disappointed with in Kingdom Hearts 3, and admittedly I was too. I was really looking forward to seeing the catch-ups of the trios that hadn't seen each other in such a long time, and for everyone to finally meet and see all of those cool introductions. We didn't really get that. It kind of makes sense though, because this was during the Keyblade Graveyard that finally everyone was reunited. There wasn't exactly time to have a "Hi, my name is Bob. Hi, my name is Bill. That's Doug over there. He knows such and such. This is the connection there." There wasn't overly too much of that because there just wasn't enough time for that. Though, what I will say is, we did see the scene just before we fight Xemnas, young Xehanort, and Ansem, where I believe it was Lee that mentioned they were busy ironing out some plot points, metaphorically referring to the fact that they were catching up, introductions, all of that kind of thing. I wish we got to see that scene. That would have been really nice to see. It felt slightly rushed in a sense, but Reminds gave us just a little slice of that interaction, and I really do appreciate that with this fight. Seeing the whole squad, aside from Donald, Goofy, Sora, and Kairi, all coming together and fighting as one force was nothing short of amazing, and it is another thing that I really do wish we got in Kingdom Hearts 3's base game. I was definitely expecting a full-scale gameplay scenario of taking control of multiple different guardians, maybe hopping out of the shoes of one and jumping into the shoes of another, partway through the battle to fight off against a different seeker, but all being in the one space doing so. Instead though, we got this segmented, split up series of fights, with the different trios going against different trios of the Seekers of Darkness. It was fine, it just wasn't really what I was expecting, and perhaps maybe I am asking for a little too much here. I definitely had some wild thoughts in my head as to what exactly Kingdom Hearts 3 would kind of be like. And yeah, while a lot of them actually came true, and Kingdom Hearts 3 is without a doubt one of my favorite Kingdom Hearts games, there were certain things there that I was a little bit disappointed in, I'm not going to lie. So I was thrilled to see this segment in Remind, seeing the whole group together. What I especially love is the quotes that play throughout this fight. We actually do have some interactions going between some of the characters as they are fending off against the replicas. Tara saying to Riku, "So, you've gained the power to protect what you hold dear." Riku replying, "Yeah, thanks to you." My god, that's wholesome. Lee mentioning, "Not bad for an on-the-fly team, right?" Aqua responding back, "Don't talk, fight." With an annoyed Lee responding, "You don't have to say it like that. You know, you can always count on Mother Aqua to keep the group in line." Oh, Daddy Tara looking out for Ven by asking a question of concern, "Are you alright, Ven?" Ven responding, "Yeah, no sweat." Oh my god. And the interaction that I know absolutely everyone was begging for in Kingdom Hearts 3 and just could not wait to see, an interaction between Ventus and Roxas. Yeah, finally we got that in this scenario, a proper one, just a little one, but Ventus said, "Roxas, was it? You're pretty good." And Roxas responding, "Yeah, well, you're not bad yourself." Both of them giving each other compliments. Oh my god, yes, this is what I signed up for. I especially love this one though. Again, the interaction between Lee and Aqua is just great, and I cannot wait to see more of this energy in the future. Later on in the fight, when you're close to defeating the replicas, Lee asks, "Are we alright?" And Aqua says, "We're fine." And then Lee responds, "I know, it just needed to be said." My god, I love this energy. I love how, like, it seems that Aqua gets a little bit triggered from some of the things that Axel Lee says sometimes. It's beautiful. I need to see more of it. What's even better though is the team attacks that we get to pull off with the reaction commands prompt that comes up with different combinations of the Guardians. This was just simply amazing. The animations were incredible. The first one we have here is the team up between Riku and Tara. This is simply beautiful. Makes so much sense as, of course, Tara was the one that performed the Keyblade Inheritance ceremony on Riku. So yeah, it's kind of like master and student are working together. I love this. The first command is known as Double Guard, with both of them fending off against a replica, and then finally pushing forward for an attack known as Successor. Making so much sense because yes, of course, Riku is the successor of Tara. And how they both dink their Keyblades together. Yes! The next one we see is of Axel and Aqua teaming up. My god, an unlikely duo, but this was a really cool attack. The start of it is known as Absolute Zero, which is a nice little nod to the shot lock from Birth by Sleep under the same name. Aqua does her ballerina twist from the Spellweaver command style, creating an icy tornado in the air. Axel then splits his Keyblade into the chakrams, which I have to say as a side note, I am so glad that Axel is still using these weapons. He can use a sort of Keyblade transformation to utilize them. Please never take these away from Axel. They are like ingrained into his DNA. It's part of his character. So thankful they brought them back. And we activate a command known as Prominence. He then jumps up into the air, flings his chakrams from side to side to create some fire, and that infuses with the tornado. It's sort of like fire and ice, and I guess wind, all fusing together. A vicious attack from both Aqua and Axel. Probably my favorite team-up attack out of this situation was certainly the one between Roxas, Ventus, and Xion. An absolutely awesome triple team attack. The first command is known as Twisting Counter, with Xion making a fool of the replica by reversaling and bonking the replica with the key stick, only to throw him down to Ventus, who performs Air Slider to Hurricane Katrina that sucker back into the air. The dumb idiot then decides to go for a swoop towards Roxas, who in the meantime is about to perform a DM, Miracle Hour, his iconic Pillar of Light attack. Honestly, the amount of disrespect these three gave the replica is immeasurable. What's neat is, the Guardians of Light are in this attack formation where they've got all of the guys around the outer circle and the girls as well as Mickey on the inside. The guys are on the offense and the king and the girls are on the defense, combining their powers to perform Reflega. So yeah, in Remind, I guess we finally got the Reflect magic, just not really the version we wanted per se. But this is extremely satisfying to use, especially when you can attack back with X after you've successfully defended yourself, performing what is the classic Reflect counterattack. This is the reason why people use the Reflect magic so much in Kingdom Hearts 2. Due to the amount of damage it could reflect back at the enemy. And it really does show here in this scenario. It is one of the stronger attacks that you can pull off if you successfully defend. It was quite nostalgic to finally see this. We then see a move known as Advanced Strike, where all of the guys collectively attack at the same time, going absolutely hog wild on these replicas. Once completing their slip, slop, slap and wrap, they finish up by using their finishes all at the same time. Once the replicas are down to about 1 bar of health, Riku then dodges out of the group to perform his own unique special solo attack. We have to perform a quick dodge, and then we turn around and perform Dark Divide, which is Riku's Dark Shotlock, to take out 4 of the replicas. The Shotlock doesn't quite work though, with all 4 of these replicas then striking Riku, and Riku then has to fend them off. It's up to us now to smash the living life force out of the triangle button. And what I really did like about these Remind scenarios, the end ones at least, was the return of the reaction commands. They were back. A lot of people were kind of like, we sort of missed these, the whole press triangle to win. And yeah, Square Enix literally gave us the whole press triangle to win. Or more so, mash the shit out of triangle to win. This was known as knockback, and after successfully pulling this off, we knock back the enemies. Even after this complete power performance by the Guardians, it still isn't enough, with all of the replicas slowly breaking their way into the reflect barrier that the Guardians are inside of, with seeing the, I guess, glass and effect of the barrier slowly shattering. Super intense, and again, it's just nothing that we had previously seen beforehand in Kingdom Hearts. Even when looking at Kingdom Hearts 3's base game, to see a cutscene sort of rolling out like this with this level of things going on really is why I'm saying I'm excited to see exactly what kind of scenarios we see for the future of this series. After this, the Guardians are then scattered into various different keyholes, separating the entire group, and Mickey is left by himself. All of those keyholes with the remaining Guardians that have been scattered all enter into one collective keyhole, with, of course, all of the replicas standing in front of it, ready to absolutely disintegrate old Michael Mouse over here. If that Guardians fight wasn't cool enough, this is when it gets even more intense. This moment had my absolute nutsack on the ground. Gravity lost control. And the hype took over. Again, this is definitely not the Mickey Mouse segment that I was asking for in my Kingdom Hearts 3, but was it one that I was expecting or one that I could have envisioned? No, absolutely not. I didn't even think something like this was going to be possible for Kingdom Hearts. When that health bar popped up with Mickey Mouse's head in the heads-up display, my god, did I absolutely lose my shit.
Years of Kingdom Hearts reaction commands trained me for this situation, dude! You can't do it, Your Majesty! Are we playing as the mouse? Oh my god, what is this? What is this? This is one of the coolest fucking things I have experienced in this entire series. More of these kind of moments for the future, dude! Does this man have a fucking lightsaber? Blade charge on steroids?
We then get thrown into the shoes of Mickey himself. A very battle-bruised Mickey who can't really do too much, other than of course attack and fend off attacks from that of the replicas. we can move forward extremely slowly, and the idea here is to get to the keyhole. The level of intensity in this moment is high, only because you're having to fend off attacks from all of the replicas, with them teleporting, trying to swipe you, sending death beam lasers towards you, with having to press the analog stick forward to try counter the attack, and pressing X at the right time to swipe the attack out of the way. It's not difficult by any means, and there really isn't that much to it, it's just a few button prompts.
Like, yo, are you seeing this? This is Mickey fucking Mouse doing this, dude! Mickey Mouse!
There's a moment mid-gameplay where the mouse drops to his knees because of the absolute exhaustion he's putting himself through. My heart was out here going like 140 a second. I can't let the king down, dude. The entire worlds depend on me in this exact moment, on this exact mouse. And that moment, oh baby, that moment, where all of the replicas decide, you know what? Fuck it, dude. We're gonna do it. Ultimate death laser. All together now. And send down the God Ray towards Mickey Mouse. Can I just remind you guys, this is Mickey Mouse. Like, if the yelling before wasn't enough, let me just reinstate this. This is Mickey Mouse. Michael Mouse, the face of Disney. In some sort of anime scenario like this, like, what is going on? I love Kingdom Hearts so much for this reason and this reason specifically. Holy smokereenies. So this mouse now has to fend himself against absolutely all of the Elon Musk satellite space station lasers of death. We then get a cutscene of Mickey unfortunately being pushed back, struggling to hold the force in which he is trying to fend off. He says the words, "No matter how far, the light will connect our hearts." Sora is then summoned behind Mickey, tracing the connection from Riku's heart to that of Mickey's. They combine their anime power together, and through the power of togetherness, literally, Mickey Mouse summons the biggest, most powerful sword of light. This is it. The ultimate dildo stick of doom. This is it. This is the most epic, the most heart-racing, the most I'ma need 8 tokes to slow me down, son moment towards Mickey Mouse in the entirety of the Kingdom Hearts series. Shortly afterwards, we do get this little mini-game scenario of Sora having to use the King's Light to then restore all of the connections through the different keyholes. And this is something that I really did like because it truly encompasses the slogan for the first saga of Kingdom Hearts, which was Reconnect. Remind literally gave us a scenario in which we were actually reconnecting everyone. And on top of that too, we even got the Kingdom Hearts 2 unlocking the world's keyhole animation, which was so sorely missed in Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah, we finally got it. Remind was completely joyous to that of Kingdom Hearts 3. It was definitely a much needed DLC, but did absolute wonders for this game. Not just these scenarios specifically, but of course the data battles, as well as the improved combat through the new combat modifiers. We finally got that much needed secret boss, like a proper secret boss, one that caused the entire fanbase to cry in pain. I personally just cannot wait for what's next to come in Kingdom Hearts, and hopefully we won't be waiting too much longer. Alright guys, that's all for today. I've been wanting to talk about these scenarios for an extremely long amount of time, and finally I'm doing so. I'd love to hear what you guys think about specifically this moment in Remind. One thing I do want to say is I really wish we didn't have to go through a lot of the fights that already we had experienced in Kingdom Hearts 3's base game prior to the Guardian and Mickey Mouse segment here. I do believe it made up for having to drag ourselves back through all of those fights yet again. It was nice to be able to play as the other characters. That was an absolute rush, especially playing as Roxas. But I only do wish that the majority of the Remind segment was slightly done a little bit differently, just to make it a little bit more entertaining and not repeats of content that we've already been through previously. From the lore standpoint, it certainly does make sense, but I still feel like that at least half of the Remind story could have been executed differently from a gameplay perspective. However guys, with all that being said, I'm Cynical, hopefully you're having a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys real soon. Peace.